Welcome to Ismaili Gnosis Chats. This episode is about the article titled The Esoterics of Prayer, From Salah to Dua.
Okay, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Ismaili prayer.
Right.
But more specifically, the esoteric meaning behind it all.
Right.
So we're working with this fascinating article from the Ismaili Gnosis website called The Esoterics of Prayer, From Salah to Dua.
Yeah, this is a really good one.
We're going to try to unpack it.
Yeah, it's like we're deciphering a secret code.
Yeah.
Going from the outward physical movements
Right.
to the hidden depths,
Yeah.
the baten of Islamic prayer.
Exactly.
Like what's fascinating is that it doesn't just explain like how to do the rituals,
Right.
but it reveals like a whole deeper spiritual journey that's embedded within them.
So we're talking about Salah, right?
Right.
The 5 daily prayers that...
Which most Muslims are familiar with.
Right, most Muslims are familiar with, but
Yeah,
Ismailis have this whole other layer of meaning.
It's like Salah is the outer shell.
Okay.
And then like the Ismaili interpretation unveils like the hidden treasure inside.
Oh, I like that.
Like, think of it like this.
Yeah.
The physical actions are important,
Right.
but they're pointing towards something even deeper.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the oneness of God through the Imam.
Right.
This journey called the dawa.
Wait, a summons?
The summons, yeah.
What is that exactly?
So imagine like a path leading towards spiritual enlightenment.
Okay.
And like each stage on that path requires like deeper understanding and connection.
Right.
That's the dawa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And get this.
Yeah.
The article quotes like a Fatimid coin
Really?
that links the Imam to this concept.
A coin?
It's like from centuries ago, they were already weaving this idea together.
Wow.
Yeah, it calls it the summons to the Tawheed of God.
Wow. So they were already talking about this connection between the Imam and this spiritual journey.
Exactly.
Back then on a coin.
And the article takes it further
Oh, wow.
by saying that each of the 7 stages of Salah
Okay.
actually symbolizes a stage in this dawa.
Okay, so the physical movements are like a secret language.
It's like a map
Oh, my mind is officially blown.
to this inner transformation.
All right, talk to me about these 7 stages.
Okay, so let's start with takbir,
Okay?
where you raise your hands to your ears.
Right.
It's not just about listening.
Okay.
It's about like opening yourself up to receive guidance.
So it's like saying, I'm ready. I'm listening.
Exactly.
What's the connection to the dawa there?
It symbolizes taking the bay'ah,
Okay.
that pledge of allegiance to the Imam,
Right.
promising to hear and obey.
Okay.
It's like the first step on that path,
Right.
committing to the journey.
Oh, so it's deeper than just a physical action.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I'm all in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Next is qiyam,
Okay.
the standings. Think about it. It's not just standing still.
Right.
It's about standing firm
Okay.
in your commitment to the Imam
Yeah.
and the journey.
So it's like planting your feet on the path and saying, this is where I stand. No wavering.
Okay. Then we have qira, reciting the Quran.
Right.
But remember, you're talking about the batin here.
Yes, the inner dimension.
It's not just reading the words.
Right.
It's about receiving like the deeper interpretation from the dai.
That's the guide, right?
Yes, the guy
That was-
who reveals the esoteric meaning of the Quran,
Right.
helping you to go beyond the surface.
So it's like you're getting like insider knowledge, a secret teaching
Exactly.
hidden within the verses.
Like you're being let in on the secret.
Okay, I'm really intrigued now. What's next?
Next comes ruku,
Okay.
the bowing.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what?
What?
This symbolizes recognizing the authority of the Bab,
Okay.
the gate to the Imam.
So we're getting closer to the Imam in a spiritual sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it gets even more intense with sujood,
Okay.
the prostration.
Right.
Here, you're literally bowing down,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the Imam himself. It's like the culmination of
Yeah.
the journey,
Yeah.
reaching that ultimate connection.
So it's like a physical manifestation of humility and submission to the Imam's spiritual authority.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So then there's tashahhud,
Okay.
the testimony.
Yeah.
Remember the guide.
Yeah.
This stage is about acknowledging their role
Okay.
in bringing you closer to the Imam.
So it's like saying, thank you for showing me the way.
Right, okay.
Okay.
And finally, we have salam,
Okay.
the salutation.
Right.
This signifies reaching a level of knowledge where you can now guide others.
Oh, wow.
It's like coming full circle
Yeah.
from receiving guidance
to becoming...
to becoming a guide yourself.
Right.
You're at that point.
Yeah, so the journey never really ends.
Right.
It's about helping others find their way too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
here's something even more mind-blowing.
Okay, lay it on me.
You mentioned the 5 daily prayer times.
Yeah.
Those actually represent the 5 dawats
What?
of the 5 great speaker prophets
Okay.
who came before Prophet Muhammad, Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus.
Wow. So every time you're praying, you're connecting to this entire lineage of spiritual guidance.
It's truly a remarkable tapestry woven through time.
That's powerful.
It is.
Okay, so we talked about the 5 daily prayers.
Right.
But what about the Ismaili Dua?
That's where things get even more fascinating.
Okay.
So remember, the Ismailis focus on the esoteric, the inner realm.
Right.
The Du'a is specifically designed to reflect this,
Okay.
embodying the stages of the dawa in a unique way.
All right, so that's what we'll uncover in the next part of our deep dive.
Exactly.
I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so last time we were talking about the 7 stages of Salah, right? And
Right.
their connection to the dawa.
Yeah, it really is like seeing prayer in a whole new light.
It's like mind-blowing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that the Ismaili Dua takes things even further into that esoteric realm.
Right.
I'm ready to explore that.
Yeah, so the Du'a is really where that Ismaili emphasis on the inner dimension really shines. You see, the Du'a isn't just another prayer.
Right.
It's like a living map
Okay.
of that spiritual journey we were talking about.
So it's not just about the words. It's about like the experience, the journey itself.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm hooked. Break it down for me. What makes the Dua so special?
So the Ismaili Du'a has 6 parts.
Okay.
And get this.
Yeah.
Each part has a specific Quranic verse
Really?
that actually takes you through the stages of the dawa.
Wait, so the Dua itself embodies the esoteric interpretation of the Salah.
You got it.
Wow.
Think of it like this.
Yeah.
Salah is the blueprint,
So-
the foundation.
Right.
The Du'a is the actual construction,
Okay.
the living experience built upon those principles.
Wow, I'm starting to see how it all comes together.
Yeah.
Okay, walk me through those 6 parts. How do they connect to the Dawa?
So it's all about progression.
Okay.
The first part starts with Surah Al-Fatiha,
Right.
which is all about acknowledging and praising God, seeking his guidance.
Right, got to start with the foundation, recognizing the source of all things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then the second part
Yeah.
uses verses from Surah Al-Nisa and Surah Yasin.
Okay.
These are all about obedience to God's representatives,
Yeah.
the prophets and the imams.
So after recognizing God, you're recognizing those who guide us towards him.
Right.
Okay.
And then the third part focuses on the declaration of the Imam,
Okay.
using a verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah. It's about recognizing that specific lineage of guidance.
Okay, so we're moving from the general to the specific, focusing in on the imam's role.
Exactly.
Okay.
The fourth part is where things get really interesting.
Oh, really? Right.
It uses a verse from Surah Al-Fath, where pledging allegiance to the prophet is considered a pledge to God himself.
Oh, wow.
This represents making the bay'ah,
Right.
that commitment to the imam.
So it's like formally stepping onto the path, making that conscious choice.
Exactly.
Okay.
The fifth part, using a verse from Surah Al-Anfal, is all about trust and loyalty. It's about upholding the commitment you made in the bay'ah.
So it's like saying, I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
And finally, the sixth part brings us full circle.
Okay.
It uses Surah Al-Ikhlas,
Right.
emphasizing the oneness of God, that ultimate reality we're striving for.
Wow. What a journey.
It is?
It's like each step builds on the last, leading you towards a deeper understanding and connection.
And remember, you're not just reciting these words passively.
Right?
The act of reciting the Du'a is itself a form of spiritual practice.
Right.
It's a dynamic experience that brings the dawa to life.
You're physically and mentally engaging in this journey every time you recite the dua.
Precisely.
Wow. Okay.
And here's another interesting tidbit from the article.
Okay.
The words du'a and dawa actually come from the same root,
Oh,
both meaning to summon.
that's fascinating. So in a way, reciting the dua is like answering that inner call that summons to embark on this spiritual journey.
Beautifully put. By reciting the du'a, which embodies the dawa,
Right.
you're essentially performing the ta'wil,
Okay.
the esoteric interpretation of the Salah.
I think I'm finally wrapping my head around this.
Yeah.
It's like the dua takes those abstract concepts from the Salah
Right.
and transforms them into like a tangible practice, way to experience the journey firsthand.
You're getting it,
Okay.
but the article doesn't stop there.
It doesn't.
Remember that concept of Zikr, The continuous remembrance of God?
Yes.
That's where we go next.
Okay.
To the ultimate reality of prayer.
Hold on, we're going even deeper.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. All right, so we've gone from like decoding the hidden meanings in the Salah
Right.
to uncovering the spiritual journey embedded in the Dua.
Right.
But you mentioned this concept of Zikr
Yeah.
as like the ultimate reality of prayer.
It really is.
Continuous remembrance of God.
Yeah, Zikr is where things get like really profound, you see.
Ah.
Up until now, we've been talking about like specific practices.
Right, rituals.
Rituals with like steps and stages.
Right.
But Zikr is about like transcending the form
Okay.
and like entering a state of being.
So it's not about just what you do, but like who you are, how you live.
Exactly. Think of it like this.
Okay.
Salah and Du'a are like training wheels,
Okay.
helping you to cultivate that inner awareness.
Right.
But Zikr is about like riding the bike freely,
Okay.
becoming that awareness itself.
Wow, that's a powerful image, but how do you achieve that?
Right.
How do you go from ritual to reality?
It's about purification of the heart,
Okay.
about achieving closeness to God through constant remembrance.
Yeah.
It's like a flame that's always burning within you.
But isn't that hard to maintain? I mean, life gets busy, you know?
Sure.
Distractions pop up. How do you stay in that state of Zikr?
It is a lifelong practice, a continuous effort to cultivate that awareness.
Right.
The article mentions a beautiful quote
Okay.
where prayer is described as a direct communication of the spark with the universal flame.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we all have that spark within us.
Right.
And Zikr is about nurturing that connection, keeping that flame alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to illustrate this concept of continuous prayer,
Yeah.
the article quotes a passage
Yeah.
describing saints as meeting places of earth and heaven,
Wow.
embodying that state of Zikr.
Meeting places of earth and heaven, that's such a powerful image.
It is.
So it's like their very being becomes a prayer.
Right. They've transcended the need for ritual
Right.
because they embody that state of Zikr.
Wow.
This takes us back to the Imam, who you said has achieved this state of continuous Zikr. Can you talk more about that?
Well, the article points out that the Imam embodies this concept of living prayer.
Mhm.
His very being, his entire mission and existence is a form of prayer. He doesn't have to do ritual prayer, though he may choose to, because his soul is always remembering God.
So the Imam shows us what's possible when you reach this continuous Zikr.
Yes. It's an amazing thing to realize. If the Imam who lives among us can achieve this state of connection with the divine, then it means it's possible for us too.
That's hopeful. But it also makes me wonder, if the Imam's existence is prayer, what does that mean for our own potential to connect with God?
That's a question we'll explore in our final part of this deep dive.
The Imam's very being is prayer. That's powerful. And it makes me wonder about my own connection to God.
It is profound. It really makes us think about prayer differently, not just a ritual or action.
Definitely. It feels like he's setting a whole new standard, a different level of spiritual awareness. But how can we even approach that in reality?
Well, the article doesn't present this as something we can't achieve. It shows the Imam as a living example, showing what we can do when we dedicate ourselves to remembering God. It's not copying him, but understanding what's behind his actions.
So not copying, but grasping that Zikr within him.
Right. Everything the Imam does, every word, comes from that constant remembrance. So to understand Zikr, we look to him. That makes sense. But how do we apply that to our lives? Bringing the Imam's example into our daily routine, our decisions, our relationships, how?
It starts with bringing that awareness of God, the one we get during prayer, into everything. Remember how Salah trains our focus and Du'a deepens our understanding? Well, the Imam shows us that Zikr can be part of everything we do.
And not just prayer times, but taking that awareness and connection everywhere.
Exactly. Acting with intention, mindfulness, seeing each choice, each interaction as a chance to connect with the divine. We see the world through Zikr, recognizing God in each moment.
Like shifting our perspective, seeing the world as a place for our Zikr.
Yes. And the dawa, that journey we talked about, is about realizing oneness with God. The Imam embodies that oneness. As we connect deeper with him, we get closer to experiencing it ourselves.
So he's not just an example, but a guide, helping us on the path to that realization.
Exactly. The more we cultivate Zikr, the more we align with him, the stronger that connection. A cycle of growth and understanding. Wow, this deep dive really showed me how profound Islamic prayer is, especially in Ismaili thought.
Yeah.
We went from Salah's movements to the Du'a's meanings, and now we see that true prayer, true Zikr, is how we live, a way of being.
And that way of being, which the Imam shows perfectly, is possible for all of us. It's a journey we take step by step, guided by the Imam, fueled by our desire to connect with God.
Such an inspiring message. It makes us rethink prayer not as ritual, but as life itself, a journey of awareness that can change us deeply. Maybe it'll inspire us all to start cultivating Zikr in our own lives. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.